In this recording, we shall continue to see what the life has been for the Larrabee couple, right? What the life has been like for Joe and Delia when they take up their respective work, right? When they begin to work, how their life is going to take the shape. Okay, so during all the next week, the Larrabees had an early breakfast. Joe was enthusiastic about some morning effect sketches he was doing in Central Park, and Dahlia packed him off breakfast. And Dahlia packed him off, and they breakfasted, cuddled, praised, and kissed at 7 o'clock. Okay, art is an engaging mistress. It was most times 7 o'clock when he returned in the evening. Okay, so Joe was as busy as 12 hours in a day. He would leave home at 7 in the morning, would come back only 7 in the evening. Okay, so far in this story, by this we know that, like the author rightly says, art is an engaging mistress. At least it seems like it, right? At least it seems like that as the story is progressing. Okay, then at the end of the week, Delia sweetly, proud but languid, triumphantly tossed three $5 bills on the 8 by 10 inches center table of the 8 by 10 feet uh, flat parlor. Okay, so she produces her earning of $15 towards the end of the week. Okay, sometimes she said, a little warily, Clementina tries me. I'm afraid she doesn't practice enough, and I have to tell her the same things so often, and then she always dresses entirely in white, and that does get monotonous. But General Pinkney is the dearest old man. I wish you could know him, Joe. And then Joe comes in while Delia attempts to describe her work life, that how is it going. Then sometimes when I am with Clementina at the piano, he is a widower, and stands there pulling his white goatee. And how are the semiquavers and the demi-semiquavers progressing? He always asks. So she is speaking about her employer, A.B. Pinkney, that he is a old man, a retired widower, who sometimes comes into the music class when his daughter is being tutored by Delia, and asks how the music class is progressing with her daughter. Okay, then she continues to say, Delia continues to say, I wish you could see the wainscoting in the drawing room, Joe, and those Astrakhan rug portieres, and Clementina has such a funny little cough. I hope she is stronger than she looks. Oh, I really am getting attached to her. She's so gentle and high bred. General Pinkney's brother was once minister to Bolivia. Okay, so now she begins to describe General Pinkney, her employer's household, okay, and his connections. Then she says that their drawing room is so ornamented and looks so embellished that they have rugs imported from Turkey. Okay, Astrakhan rugs. They are the very famous rugs from Turkey. Okay, and carpets and rugs which are used as the embellishments in the drawing room. Then she describes, also informs that General Pinkney is so rich that they come from such a reputed and high ranking family that General Pinkney's brother was once minister to Bolivia. Okay, and then Joe, with the air of Monte Cristo, drew forth a 10, a 5, and 2, and 1, all legal tender notes, and laid them beside Delia's earning. Here is Joe, who has also come with money, okay, income towards the end of the week. Surprisingly for Delia, he lays out his weekly earnings in front of her on the table, just like so she had done before some time. Then he says, sold that watercolor of the obelisk to a man from Peoria, and announced overwhelmingly, he is so glad that he could sell one of his watercolor paintings to a rich man from a place called Peoria, and that's how he could make that money. Then don't joke with me, said Delia, not from Peoria. All the way I wish you could see him daily. Fat man with a woolen muffler and a quill toothpick. He saw the sketch in Tinkle's windows and thought it was a windmill at first. He was game, though, and bought it anyhow. He ordered another, an oil sketch of the Lackawanna Freight Depot to take back with him. Music lessons. Oh, I guess art is still in it. Okay. So these are the words told by Joe that about his profit in the line of his profession, and also his line of his art, that how he is being successfully able to sell paintings to a man from Peoria. And he says that he is placed also another order with Joe, and he would like to buy another painting, okay, oil sketch of the Lackawanna Freight Depot. Okay, and then he continues, Delia continues to say, I'm so glad you have kept on, said Delia heartily. They, and she says, you are bound to win. Dear, $33. We never had so much to spend before. We'll have oysters tonight. Okay, so now they have some handsome amount of money at their disposal. Okay, so they have decided now that they are going to have a little luxurious dinner. They are going to have oysters in the dinner, and filet mignon with champignons, said Joe. Where is the olive fork? Okay, they have planned finally to relish their dinner, have some good dinner in a way of a small celebration, because of both of them getting income into their household. On the next Sunday evening, Joe reached home first. On next Saturday evening, Joe reached home first. He spread his $18 on the parlor table and washed what seemed to be great deal of dark paint from his hands. Half an hour later, Delia arrived, her right hand tied up in a shapeless bundle of wraps and bandages. How is this? Asked Joe after the usual greetings. Delia laughed, but not very joyously. Clementina, she explained, insisted upon a Welsh rabbit after her lesson. She is such a queer girl. Welsh rabbits at 5 in the afternoon. The general was there. You should have seen him run for the chafing dish, Joe, just as if there wasn't a servant in the house. I know Clementina isn't in good health. She is so nervous in serving the rabbit. She spilled a great lot of it, boiling hot, over my hand and wrist. It hurt awfully, Joe, and the dear girl was so sorry. But General Pinkney, Joe, that old man, nearly went distracted. he rushed downstairs and sent somebody, they said the furnace man or somebody in the basement, out to a drug store for some oil and things to bind it up with. It doesn't hurt so much now. So this is something different that has happened, that on a weekend on Saturday, Joe has come home with some oil, some kind of dark paint on his hands, whereas Delia comes with a bandaged hand. Okay, and she claims that her student Clementina wanted to have a dish made of Welsh rabbit at 5 in the evening, and her father, General Pinckney, was so curious as to get her the dish. And Clementina, while sharing the dish with her teacher, that is Delia, while serving the dish, she actually spilled a lot of very boiling hot dish on her hands, and it hurt her hand. And because of that, General Pinckney sent for the furnace man to the drugstore and got some oil and bandages to cover up the injury, to cover up the wound, and he had to bandage her hand and send her. Okay, so this the clarification or story that Delia is narrating as to how did she hurt her hand. Okay, then what is this? Asked Joe, taking the hand tenderly and pulling at some white strands beneath the bandages. It's something soft, said Delia, that had oil on it. Oh, Joe, did you sell another sketch? She had seen the money on the table. Did I? Said Joe. Just ask the man from Peoria. He got his depot today and he isn't sure, but he thinks he wants another parkscape and a view on the Hudson. What time this afternoon did you burn your hand, Delhi? Okay, so Joe is claiming that he got these $18 from the same man that he had claimed previous week, a man from Peoria who had been demanding paintings from Joe, who wanted to buy Joe's paintings, who had given him money, and he says that now the man from Peoria has placed further orders for the painting. Okay, then he begins to ask Delia that when did she hurt her hand. She says 5 o'clock, I think, said Delia plaintively. The iron, I mean, uh, the rabbit came off the fire about that time. You ought to have seen General Pinckney, Joe, when. Okay, so she was about to say something regarding the iron, and she suddenly changes her pitch and topic to the dish of Welsh rabbit. Then suddenly Joe gets a doubt that there is something fishy, that Delia is lying to him about something. Then she makes her sit and forces the real story out of Delia, and let us see in the next session that what are the mm, real faces and realities that these loving couple have to reveal each other about their respective jobs.